You don't need to train more, you don't need a better program, you don't need more supplements. I've seen guys train 6 days a week for 2 years and still look like they just started, and I've seen guys train 4 days a week and completely transform in 6 months. The difference isn't effort, it's not genetics either. It's that no one told them these 5 things that completely change how your body responds to training. And the worst part, every single one of these things looks totally normal from the outside. You think you're doing it right, but you're not. We're going to cover 5 things today. How hard you're actually training, why your progression method is broken, why protein isn't doing what you think it is, why your exercise selection is quietly killing your gains, and why the way you're tracking, if you're even tracking at all, is giving you almost zero useful information. I'm not gonna talk about train harder and eat more. You've already heard that. It clearly hasn't worked for you. So let's get into what actually will. You've been progressing the wrong way. If you think the only way to progress is by increasing weight on the bar from week to week, obviously you're gonna make no progress. You need to completely change your understanding of progressive overload. There are mainly 3 variables in any exercise you do: the weight you're lifting, the number of reps you do, and the form you're using. To actually track progress accurately, you need to lock in 2 of these variables and only keep measuring one. Because if you try to manage all 3 at the same time, you never know if you're progressing because every session will be a totally different performance. Let's see which 2 variables you need to lock. One is obvious. Your form needs to be locked in, because if your form on the exercise is different all the time, what's even the point of doing that exercise? 2, if you keep changing the weight from set to set and week to week, tracking progress becomes confusing. Because one session you might do 15 reps with 20 kg and in the other session you might do 10 reps with 30 kg. Which one was harder? And how do you know clearly if you progressed? This is why I like to lock in my weight and form and only focus on reps. If my weight is locked and my form is the same, the only thing that changes from week to week is how many reps I do. Last week I might get 12 reps with 20 kg and this week I might get 13 reps with 20 kg. This is a clear trackable progression, because progress at its core means being stronger than last time, and you can only get 1 extra rep next session if you've actually become stronger. This means you can keep progressing consistently for months without ever touching a heavier plate. And guess what that does? It keeps your systemic fatigue manageable, your form correct, and injury risk low. So until and unless you get at least 15 reps with the same weight in all of your sets of an exercise, the weight and form stays the same. After getting 15, 15, 15, you bump up the weight with the smallest increment possible. Now you will get lesser than 15 reps, but you follow the same procedure again, match with 15 reps across all sets, and increase the weight again. That is how you manage progressive overload. Don't be so excited to lift heavier weights. I know it feels cool to max out machines, but choose your priority. Is it maxing out machines or growing more muscle faster? Next, your protein is not doing its job. There are 2 main things when it comes to protein: how much you're consuming and how much of it is actually being absorbed. The biggest reason you're stuck is not because you're having less protein, but because the protein you're having is low quality. If you're a vegetarian, think about what you generally consume for protein: lentils, kidney beans, chickpeas. I'm sorry to say, but for starters, they all have more carbs than protein per 100 gram. So you're actually just overeating calories unnecessarily. And secondly, they all are incomplete proteins. What does incomplete protein mean? Protein is protein, right? Be it from chicken or lentils. Well, unfortunately not. Proteins are actually made up of small compounds called amino acids. When you have any protein, your body breaks it down into these amino acids so that the protein actually becomes usable. There are a total of 21 amino acids, out of which 12 your body can make on its own and 9 it cannot. These 12 amino acids are called non-essential amino acids and the other 9 are called essential amino acids. For your body to fully absorb the protein properly, it needs all 9 essential amino acids in enough quantity. The problem with 90% vegetarian protein sources is that they do not have enough of these essential amino acids, especially leucine, which is the main essential amino acid that triggers muscle growth. So even if you're having 120 grams of protein from lentils, your body is only able to use a fraction of it, and hence they're called incomplete proteins. Now sure, if you combine these incomplete protein sources together, sometimes they do fill in the lacking essential amino acid gaps. For example, if you have lentils and rice together, they make a decent protein source because rice has the essentials that lentils don't, and lentils have the essentials that rice doesn't. But the second problem that arises is the calories. Because rice and lentils are both high in calories, if you're trying to lose weight, you're making no progress at all. This is why personally, I only track proteins from high quality complete protein sources like chicken, eggs, tofu, dairy, or soy-based proteins, and simply ignore the protein from other sources like rotis, chapatis, rice, lentils, or oats. If you eat meat, I highly recommend you to start eating it every single day. And if you're a vegetarian, here's a list of high quality proteins you should have every day. Now, if you're watching this and thinking, okay, but how do I put put all of this together specifically for my body, my schedule, and my diet, that's exactly what my one-on-one consultation is for. I look at your current routine, your diet, and build you a personalized workout and diet plan from scratch. Link is in the description. Spots are limited because I work with people individually, and please only apply if you're serious about making progress. The third reason is your exercise selection is mediocre at best. One of the most overlooked reasons you're not seeing results is the actual exercises you're doing. For any exercise to be worth your time, it needs to check these 3 boxes. It takes the muscle through its full range of motion, it has a clear way to progress week to week, and it doesn't destroy your joints. Most guys fail on the first one, and that one matters the most. Here's the thing, your muscle grows the most when it's being loaded in its fully stretched position. This is called stretch mediated hypertrophy, and it's not a bro science term. Studies actually show that muscles trained in their stretched position grow significantly more than muscles trained only when they're contracted. That's the whole game. So let's talk about some exercises you're probably doing that completely ignore this. Planks, probably the worst ab exercise you can do. Your abs are designed to flex your spine, meaning they need to shorten and lengthen to actually grow. Crunches, cable crunches, ab wheel rollouts, all of these do that. Planks just hold your abs still. There's no stretch, no load in the lengthened position, and the only way to progress is holding it longer. That's not muscle growth, that's just endurance training. Another exercise is tricep kickbacks. Same problem. Your triceps never enter a fully stretched state. Almost all the tension falls on the muscle when it's contracted. You're basically only training half the muscle. Now here's the fix. Try this right now. Touch your bicep to your ear. Feel that deep pull in your triceps? That's your tricep in its fully stretched position. That's why overhead tricep extensions will always beat kickbacks or even push downs for actual size. Same logic applies to your chest press. If you're stopping when your arms are parallel to the ground, you're cutting off the most important part of the rep. Take the dumbbells as deep as possible until they almost touch your front dents. That bottom stretched position is where the growth happens. So the rule is simple. If an exercise doesn't load your muscle in its fully stretched position, it needs to go. Swap one exercise this week to its stretched alternative. You'll feel the difference within the first set and see it within a month. My next question to you is, how hard are you actually training? Because most guys have this completely backwards. You're probably giving it everything in your first set when you're fresh, and then just going through the motions in sets 2 and 3 when the fatigue kicks in. That needs to stop. Your hardest set should be your last set, not your first. Here's why. As you go through the sets, fatigue accumulates. Your muscle is getting more and more tired. So to get the same number of reps in set 3 as you did in set 1, your muscle actually has to work significantly harder. That last set, done properly, is the most valuable set of your entire workout. This is why the last few reps of your last set should feel absolutely brutal. Your face should look ugly. You should be making involuntary noises. And your last rep should be moving noticeably slower than your first rep. If your last rep looks exactly the same as your first, same speed, same ease, you stopped too early. You left the best and the most important reps on the floor and walked out. Here's a simple test to see if you actually trained hard enough. Immediately after your last set of chest presses, try to do a single push-up. If you can bang out 5 easily, you didn't train hard enough. Your muscle should feel noticeably weaker after the exercise. Now the flip side of this is junk volume. A lot of guys think training 6 days a week means they're working harder than everyone else. But if those 6 days are full of sets where you never actually push close to failure, you're just accumulating fatigue without the growth signal. That's junk volume. You're doing the work but not getting the pay. 4 days of genuinely hard training will beat 6 days of comfortable training every single time. So here's the actual standard. If you finished your last set and could have done 3 more reps easily, that set didn't count. You need to be within 1 or 2 reps of absolute failure on your working sets. That's the threshold where muscle growth actually happens. Train less if you have to, but make every set mean something. And finally, you're not tracking progress. If you're just going to the gym, lifting weights, and eating whatever's made without tracking anything, you will never know if you're going anywhere. And even if you are tracking, you're most likely tracking the wrong things. Most guys track their weight daily, which fluctuates 2 kgs day to day, and simply estimate how much calories and protein they're having. Both of these tracking methods have such a big margin of error that it's almost like not tracking your progress. For your body weight, instead of focusing on daily weight changes, monitor your weekly average weight instead. This gives you a much better idea of the actual trend of your body weight, which is far more meaningful. Because when you measure averages, you somewhat smoothen out random things like water retention, high sodium intake, less food on some days, etc. So simply weigh your body daily at the same time on an empty stomach and look at the weekly average weight instead of daily weight. Even full body pictures on the first of every month in the same lighting and same time of the day helps to visualize progress and keeps giving you information about what to focus on in the gym. For your lifts, you can always download a simple gym tracking app app and try to lift more than last time. There's tons of good apps out there to keep you accountable. Like Heavy, for example. Don't simply lift till you feel alright. It doesn't work that way. You need to know if your reps are increasing at the right pace. And as far as your diet is concerned, referring to the protein quality point, even if you have good quality protein sources but not having enough of it, you're capping your progress. I'm not asking you to track your food forever. Even just 4 weeks of accurate tracking will permanently change how you see food. You'll know instinctively what 30 grams of protein looks like on your plate and how many calories you're actually eating. To do this properly, get a simple calorie tracking app and a kitchen weighing scale. No guessing, no estimating. Just accurate numbers for a few weeks. That's all I'm asking. Most guys guess their entire diet and then they wonder why nothing changes. You now have no excuse to guess. So let's recap what's actually keeping you average. You're burning out in your first set and coasting through the ones that matter the most. You're changing weight, reps, and form all at once and calling it progress. Your protein looks good on paper, but your body is barely using half of it. You're doing exercises that never even fully stretch the muscle. And you're tracking daily weight swings and guessing your food, which tells you almost nothing. None of this is complicated, but all of it compounds. Fix one of these and you'll notice a difference. Fix all 5 and you'll look like a different person in just 3 months from now. If this video changed how you think about even one of these things, subscribe, because this is exactly the kind of content I make. No fluff, no generic advice, just the stuff that actually moves the needle. And if you want me to look at your specific situation and tell you exactly what's holding you back, the consultation link is in the description. That was it for this video. Share it with a friend who you think might need it, and I'll see you in the next one.